A Seahawks legend has just announced that he is ready to play a 15th NFL season, and the Seahawks have emerged as potential suitors. This move could absolutely bolster our already dominant defense and could be the genius move that makes the Seahawks win back-to-back Super Bowls. What is up, everyone? Hope you're having a great day from wherever you are watching. Kyle Guerrero here, bringing you another episode of Seahawks Digest. We bring you all the latest Seattle Seahawks news, reports, as they are happening in real time. And today is not just any episode, because today we are talking about my favorite Seattle Seahawk of all time. We are talking about Seattle legend Bobby Wagner, who has just announced he fully intends to play a 15th NFL season. And what makes this interesting is that Bobby Wagner is an unrestricted free agent. He's played the last 2 years in Washington, but now he is free to sign wherever he wants. There is no shortage of people that are going to be trying to get Bobby Wagner this year, but the Seahawks have emerged as one of the favorites to land Bobby Wagner. So today we're going to break down what it would look like if we signed Bobby Wagner, what these numbers would look like, and if it even makes sense to go after a guy who is a 15-year pro now. So let's jump right into it. But before we do, we have noticed that 98% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you want to stay up to date with the latest Seahawk content, please subscribe, like, and ring that bell. It really helps us grow this channel with the YouTube algorithm, and it's free. So let's dive right in. It was tweeted earlier today by senior NFL analyst Jordan Schultz that Commanders 11-time All-Pro linebacker Bobby Wagner, the reigning Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner, fully intends to continue playing for a 15th NFL season in 2026. The future Hall of Famer started all 17 games again this past season, recording 162 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 4.5 sacks, and is set to be a free agent this offseason. Before we start breaking down stats and numbers and all that stuff, you need to realize who Bobby Wagner is to the Seattle Seahawks. We drafted him in the second round in 2012. He was on our Super Bowl winning team with LOB and Russell Wilson and was a dominant inside linebacker for many years for the Seahawks. I think he played about 10 years in total, and he led us in tackles pretty much every single year. He was an All-Pro many years, and the heart of our defense and the locker room leader that held everyone accountable. Not to mention, he was always a fan favorite. He was volunteering in the community, and he was a pillar for Seattle. Not only the football team, but the city as well. For many years, Bobby Wagner was the epitome of consistency. However, in 2022, the Seahawks did make the decision to move on from Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson and retool and rebuild in those final Pete Carroll years. I think Bobby was pretty hurt when he got released, so he went and signed with our division rivals, the LA Rams, and had an okay year. Fast forward, just after that year, he did make up with the Seattle Seahawks, and he did re-sign under Pete Carroll's leadership in 2023. However, that did not last very long because he only came back on a one-year deal. And after that contract was up, he went and signed with Dan Quinn's Washington Commanders, which is where he has played for the last 2 years, where he is still a top 6, a top 8 inside linebacker in the National Football League. Just bringing up the stats here one more time. He did play in all 17 games. He had 162 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 4.5 sacks. This man is a 35-year-old linebacker who just played his 14th NFL season. These are just insane numbers for a guy that age. And goes to show you how dominant he still is. So the first thing we need to do here is look at the Seattle Seahawks defensive depth chart and see where Bobby Wagner could even slide in here. And right off the bat, we already have a great middle linebacker in Ernest Jones, who is beloved by the city of Seattle as well, and just came off of an all-pro second team year. He is elite. He is our guy. He's younger than Bobby. We would not bring Bobby in to replace him. However, look at who's behind Ernest Jones. Chaz Surratt, who mainly played special teams this year and is a free agent. Also looking over at Drake Thomas, he's also a free agent this summer. So our linebacker room is not set in stone for next year yet. We could easily have Bobby slide into one of these positions or even play behind Ernest Jones at this point in his career. He could fit in here and be a great veteran piece. The next thing we need to talk about is locker room fit, because Bobby Wagner is one of, if not the most respected players in the league in the locker room. And he even just won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. At this point in his career, Bobby Wagner is not coming in to be a middle linebacker who goes out and gets 180, 190 tackles and leads the league. He is coming in to be a veteran leader and a guy that can really help coach and help the young guys learn more and get better. He is a guy that if was in this locker room right now, Devon Witherspoon would look up to. Nick Eamon-Worry would look up to. He'd be the oldest guy on our defense, so everyone out there would look up to him for all of the years of hard work he has put in and the dominant player he has been over his career. Now let's get into the business side of what this would look like for the Seahawks, because at 35 years old, Bobby Wagner is one of the oldest linebackers in the league, and he'd be inexpensive compared to other top linebackers at this time. Over the past few years, in 2022, he had a cap hit of $7.2 million. When he re-signed with the Seahawks in 2023, he was $6.27 million. And over the last 2 years with the Commanders, he was about an $8 million cap hit each year. Now, what we need to think about is Bobby played 10, 11 years in Seattle. He loves Seattle. Seattle is his home. Seattle just won the Super Bowl. Bobby Wagner, this might be his last year. Don't you think a guy like Bobby is going to want to go out on top being a winner? I think Bobby could take a hometown discount and play in the range of $4-5 million for a year here, and his veteran leadership would add so much to this team. We are at that point in the episode with our new segment called What Nobody Is Talking About, and this is where we debate what the mainstream media isn't really catching and is not out there right now. And we've kind of gone over it a little bit already in this episode, but this would not be a move to bring in the most dominant force ever on defense. This would be a move for culture and fit. So what we need to think about, last year when Cooper Kupp signed with the Seahawks, no one wanted him. People thought he was old and washed and whatever. The same thing with DeMarcus Lawrence. And look at the years that both of those guys had, not only as players in their respective positions, but in the locker room. Bobby Wagner fits that exact mold. Now, what would be the risks and rewards of signing Bobby Wagner for next season? The rewards: elite leadership, defensive communication upgrade, cheap veteran value, and a culture stabilizer. The risk: because he is older, he does face chances of having a major drop-off because of his age. Scheme fit concerns. I do know that one of the reasons he didn't maybe stick around was because of Mike Macdonald playing a different type of system. But come on, you're telling me one of the best linebackers of all time can't adapt into this system in some way? Maybe if it's not like the star player or role, he could not find some job within this system? What if he's playing a backup linebacker besides Ernest Jones? What if Ernest Jones gets to take some snap-offs? What if they get to share a bit of that workload? What if they can play at the same time and on some snaps? Another risk could be this could just piss off Ernest Jones, but I don't see him being that kind of the guy. Look at what he was saying and backing up when people were crapping all over Sam Darnold. Ernest Jones is a team guy, and that is the culture we have bit in Seattle. Now, what's also worth noting here is the Seahawks are not the only team that are on the board right now. Dallas Cowboys, they need a linebacker, and they are a strong suitor, and they have a scheme fit under their DC. And Bobby could be a fit there, and they might be willing to spend more of a bag than these other teams. The Seahawks, we've already gone over it. The Rams, he's played with the Rams that 1 year. I don't personally see him going back to LA. And the Washington Commanders, the team he's played with the last 2 years, there is potential that he could stay there, but who really knows? Part of these 4 teams, there's probably other teams that will emerge over the next few weeks as well. So what happens next and what to watch out for? NFL free agency starts on March 11th. Before then, the Washington Commanders still have the ability to offer Bobby Wagner a contract and re-sign him. So let's keep an eye on that, and also what Bobby's market value is fluctuating at, because if it's close to $10 million, probably not a great move for the Seahawks, but if it's lower, and if it kind of gets lower towards the start of free agency, the Seahawks should go all in on making a move for Bobby. But also, the Seahawks only have one guy, the linebacking for next season on contract right now in Ernest Jones, with Chaz and Drake Thomas free agents. So if not Bobby, we should also be watching out for who the Seahawks could be targeting. We're at the part of the episode where we want to hear from you, the 12s. This segment is called the 12s Verdict, and we want to know, should the Seattle Seahawks sign linebacker Bobby Wagner? Drop that little green emoji if you think hell yes. If you don't think so, drop that blue emoji and explain why you think the Seahawks shouldn't go after Bobby. I just think at this point in Bobby's career, he's going to want to go out on top, and I think he'd be willing to give the Seahawks a hometown discount. Obviously, I can't speak for him. I don't know the guy, but it makes complete sense. The city of Seattle loves Bobby. He is a great veteran leader. He is exactly what Cooper Kupp and DeMarcus Lawrence were last year. And if he can come in and help bolster this team with his leadership, and we keep talking about leadership, he is still a dominant player. He is still a great linebacker and borderline top 6, top 8 in the league. How great would it be if Bobby Wagner comes back, wins his second Super Bowl, helps the Seahawks go back-to-back, and then retires on top of the world? That'll do it for another episode of Seahawks Digest. Please subscribe, like, and ring that bell so you can keep up to date with all the latest content, and comment down below what type of videos you would like to see in the future. Till the next episode, I'm Kyle Guerrero. Go Hawks.